What's up, guys? It's me, Johnathan Rydell, and I'm actually with my twin brother, Blake Rydell.
Yep.
And welcome to our YouTube channel. This one is called Twin Talk, and one of the things that we're super excited about is kind of, I guess, talking about not only the politics of what's going on around the world, but a little bit about how that, affects our personal lives, as well as, our family and people around us. I think that's something that we're really excited about. And so, Blake, why don't you give them a little bit of a background about what we've done and what we're planning to do with the channel.
So we were on WSEU 93.7, and we were there for about 2.5 years. We would talk about the same thing, our political ideas, why they're important, why people should talk about politics, and especially students in the university system, or even younger in the high school system, middle school system. So that was basically what our talks kind of consisted of. And now we kind of want to go one step further. We want to put it on YouTube so that all of our viewers can log in, because right now we're in quarantine because of coronavirus.
That's true. And just to kind of give a little bit more background, whenever we were on radio, this was basically the same show, but like you said, we kind of wanted to bump it up a notch and kind of take it into more of a production. So I'll be editing the videos, I'm sure. He'll be editing videos.
Yep.
But it's something that we're excited about because we think things like this need to be discussed. Because kind of like how you're saying, I don't know what your parents say or what you've been taught. I don't know how old you are. But one of the things that I was always kind of taught is there's a few things you don't talk about with people, and that's money,
religion, or politics.
And
we're saying, Mom and Dad.
And we're saying, why not? Because politics, it's really the summarization of everything that our country is facing, whether it's abortion, whether it's human rights, animal rights, whether it's taxes. All this stuff comes back to affect you. So we don't want to take a bat a blind eye towards it. We want to kind of hit it head on and see what we can discuss.
And when you think of it, or at least whenever I think of it, I think the most important three things that define people are their religion, their political views, and their worth, their value, and where they are in a position of work. So to me, basically you're saying, you know what? When we're ignoring those three things that we talked about earlier, we're going to ignore everything that makes you, everything that makes you an important person, and, in my opinion, created in the image of God. So, that's just taking away those three things, to me.
Yeah, and I think that's a big...
And that's why we want to really bring this channel up and bring the show back.
That's true. So, kind of piggybacking off of that... Obviously, I think a lot of people hate talking about the negatives that's going around. Quarantine, coronavirus, the death rate. And by the way, the media is crazy. They're absolutely looking at these death rates like it's a great thing. Like, oh, these aren't just people. These are just numbers that we have to study. It's just a line graph. Let's slow the curve, slow the spread. I think that's a little bit distasteful because I know that a lot of people have been affected by this.
Yeah, but a lot of people have lost their family members.
But at the same time, there's an even greater number of people being affected by being out of work from being in this quarantine. And, there are the lucky few who are working at home, and that's great for them. I'm actually one of them. Yeah. But with that being said, first of all, what's your take on this whole, coronavirus thing? And what do you think the country needs to do now that we've already passed so many stimulus plans and, let's keep spending
infrastructure plans, everything in between? To be honest with you, I'd like to take it a step back. I think we're ignoring the fact that this came from China. This came directly from China. We don't know if it was a guy eating a bat or if it was made in a lab somewhere. We don't really know where this originated from. And so to me, I think we got to take a step back and really put the blame on China instead of trying to blame our current administration or people who are in his cabinet. Now, as far as coronavirus, this is kind of a hot take and way to open up a show, right? To me, I think the coronavirus has been blown out of proportion. And I say that because every year, 50,000 to 90,000 people die from influenza, something that has been well documented. It's a well-known disease, and it's been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Same with the coronavirus. Now, this is a different strand. This is hurting a lot of people, and it's definitely contagious. So these measures, these steps that we're going under are definitely important to help slow the spread, as we've talked about. But so far, there's 20,000, 30,000 people who have died, which sounds crazy, but that is less than influenza every year so far.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So far, I think, again, you're kind of looking at the numbers and saying, oh, well, this might be, overblown. And there's a very high chance that it could be. Right. But I think that's a little early to say now. So I wouldn't go down that route because, when you look at it, okay, I don't care where it came from. Yes, it probably did come from China. And now, that's not a racist, xenophobic thing to say because literally the New York Times was like, oh, yeah, this is definitely the Chinese virus, the Wuhan virus. And then a month later, because Trump says it's from China, it's the worst thing in the world. He's racist and xenophobic. So I do agree, yes, it did come from China. No one knows if it came from a bat, came from a lab. I would like to say it just came from a bat and it wasn't, made to go against. All that stuff. But we do know that the incubation period is a lot longer than the flu, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that this is proportionately struck a wider age gap than the flu.
Right.
Now, you can say, okay, well, there's young kids who die with the flu, yes, and I'm sure that there will be more, unfortunately, with coronavirus. But we just saw on the news today, Carl Anthony Towns' mom died. She was 48? Or 52 or something like that. There's a guy that was working for the New York Post or something, and he had that iconic picture of Mariano Rivera walking out of the bullpen one more time. And which that's a whole other story. Yeah. But he just died at the age of 48 as well. So when you look at that and you look at the incubation period, I wouldn't say that it's been overblown. But I do think that, yes, I think that halting the whole economy is a little bit of an overreaction.
Right, and I would actually say that we agree on most of what you just said. I disagree with the fact that we're having press conferences every day because of this. Every aspect of American society has been shut down, from the NBA to every professional sports team has been shut down, along with a lot of people's jobs. Yeah. We work with a minor league baseball team.
Yeah, we do.
A freelance camera job.
Yeah.
And what has that done to you?
Well, I'm not able to work, and
I'm not either.
Okay.
So that hurts us. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I think that we should focus on the vulnerable populations, the older people, the people who shouldn't be exposed to the virus, because I think they're the ones that are truly in danger. Now, the hard thing to say is, hey, don't see grandma because you don't want her to get sick.
Yeah.
Don't see your grandpa because you don't want him to get sick. But I think that that's a step that we could take as long as we have the economy going.
And yes, I agree as well. And to add on to that point, it is crazy to think that we're all right, guys, let's shut down the whole economy, right? No mini golfing, no going to Disney, none of that. Don't go to the movie theaters. You're gonna get sick and you're gonna die. Oh, don't touch anything. But just in case you need to get a necessity, everyone go to one location. Yeah. Everyone go to Walmart. Yeah, everyone go to Target.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, just because we didn't go anywhere else but Walmart, we're not going to get it. If anything, I feel like that would push the virus to spread in one common denominator of a location that everyone goes to. So,
like you said, we don't like to admit it because we don't want to be one of the people of Walmart. Mm-hmm. But we all go to Walmart. We all go there once a week, probably, maybe if not more. And so to me, like you said, we have to keep that in mind. We're going to the same place, and they're letting 9 or 10 people in at one time. Well, that's fantastic, but this is an airborne virus. So anything that they touch, anything that they breathe on, is going to be infected. So it makes no sense. Let's just elongate the period of exposure.
Let's just touch the handle, go and get your microwavable pizza, go get whatever you need, and then let's just act like, oh man, our staff is sanitizing everything. They're definitely going to miss something here and there. It's a virus. You can't contain it. That's the whole point of the shutdown to begin with. And then, next person comes along, they're safe. Like, that's crazy. And speaking of Walmart people, that brings me to a funny story. This is so off topic, but I remember walking into Walmart on Black Friday, what you're gonna say. Like 10 years ago, and there was a guy in a hospital gown and underwear on his head. I kid you not.
And socks on his hands. It was just bizarre. It was bizarre.
He might have had Corona before anyone. I don't know. Yeah. He might be high IQ.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No, but that is true. And the thing that worries me the most about this virus, though, is kind of where we're headed. Not as like a society, not with the virus itself, but the reaction to it. Because right now we have someone who's, a pretty conservative president compared to what we would have had on the left.
Right.
And I still think Trump is kind of a Democrat in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
No one rolls out $2 trillion in a spending plan. We talked about that when we were on radio. No one does that as a Republican. He's leveraging himself much like a Democrat would. But with that being said, whenever you look at the overall response, we're going to start shutting down businesses. Now you can't go to church. We're going to look at your license plate, even if you're practicing all the social distancing laws.
You're in your car. You're going to a drive-through service. Yesterday was Easter,
which is kind of weird. Drive-through service. I'm not sure about it.
I'm not going, but I'm not going to hate you if you do go.
No, it's cool if you go.
But yeah, let's write down your license plate, and then we'll issue a citation. And it's ridiculous.
The hypocrisy. Wow, I cannot speak English. The hypocrisy is unreal. When it comes to this, because think about after 9/11. People weren't like, oh, let's go park outside mosques and let's go take every single license plate number and give them a fine for gathering.
Right.
So now let's go to churches because Easter Sunday, a religious ceremony for Christians, and let's go write down their license plate numbers and let's ticket them, and before you know it, let's start persecuting them. That's the scary thing whenever the government infringes on your, freedom of religion.
Yeah.
Freedom of expression. There's so many different...
Freedom to gather.
Yeah, freedom to gather peacefully. I mean, last time I checked, gathering in a pandemic, as bad as it is, if you're not killing anyone, if you're not rioting the place... I mean, think about this. Do you remember after, the Trayvon Martin things and all that? Let's go riot. Brown. Let's go burn down CVS.
Yeah.
No worries. Don't worry about it. You can go burn that down. No problem.
Almost no coverage on that because it was political.
Yeah. And then nowadays, fast forward, now you go to church and
5-10 years.
Oh my gosh, you're going to go to jail. You're going to get ticketed. It's something that's crazy.
I read an article by Alan West, the former representative from here in Florida.
Yeah.
I read an article that he said, we should stop this now. And again, I'm just summarizing. But we should stop this now because this is the reaction to a virus. Now imagine if there was, Lord forbid, a war on our turf or a terrorist attack or anything else. How much further would they push the envelope to take our freedoms, to take everything? I mean, last time I checked, they were shutting down gun shops in New York because they weren't essential. Yeah. Although that's your Second Amendment right. That's one of the most important rights that you can have, especially in a time where police officers are calling out sick. There's thousands of NYPD officers calling out sick every single day. Mm-hmm. So that means your wait time is going to increase and the potential for crime is going to increase.
As a matter of fact, crime rates have increased as well. So that's something that I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're independent or Republican. I think everyone wants to be safe.
Yeah,
now, kind of like what you said with the war. Like, listen, it's not going to take executive action for me to sit right here during a war and try to stay away from all that. Unless, obviously...
You're enlisted.
I'm called to serve, But you're right, and it's not even about this time around. 2020 is in the books. It's a quarantine. Okay, let's see how many more months this goes. Let's pray that not everyone in the world loses their job. It's going to be tough. I know that there's a lot of people who have lost that. And some of them don't qualify for unemployment, which is even worse.
Right.
And the websites are crashing that.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different thing. But going back to what you're talking about here, it's not this time, it's the next time this happens. In 5 to 10 years, when there's a Democrat in office, because this is with the Republican president.
Right.
This is with Mr. Conservative Donald Trump in office.
Right.
Imagine whenever Socialist Sanders or Joe Biden or someone who's way left compared to Trump gets in.
Right.
It's not going to be just a quarantine. It's not going to be 15 days to slow the spread, 30 days to slow the spread. Dr. Fauci's literally going to take control of the whole country and say, all right, everything's done now. You guys have fun. And so just imagine that the next time this comes around, there's already precedent because this has already happened before.
Well, and just
that's the thing that scares me.
Another thought, to add on to what I was saying earlier and kind of onto that thought, we see some sanctuary cities where you're supposed to be safe release criminals back onto the streets, convicted rapists, convicted felons, arsonists. We've seen it all.
Yeah.
For example, in New York City, Bill de Blasio just lets criminals go, nobody checking on them, because, we want to keep this pandemic out of
we have to keep
out
them
of our
safe
jail.
from the pandemic,
Yeah.
but we're not going to keep our citizens safe from
During
these guys.
the pandemic. Yeah.
Think about
so that's just kind of the cyclical thought of a lot of these liberal people. They think if they can fix one point of the cycle, they'll fix the whole wheel.
Well,
and that's not true.
I will say, in a kind of an ironic twist of fate, did you see that Michael Avendetti got released from prison because of COVID-19? Yes. So, dangerous criminal. But do you remember, 2 years ago, he was supposed to be the Democratic forerunner. People were cheering for him.
They thought he was
run
going to run for
Trump
president
because he's such a great man.
Yeah.
He's a hero for representing a porn actress. This guy is amazing. Yeah. He's an amazing person.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Whoops. Yeah, whoopsies.
But that's not that's not here nor there. It's just something that's funny. But no, ironic. You're right. Let's release danger on the streets because of more danger. That makes total sense.
Yeah, and let's create chaos in the meantime. And really, they want to create chaos because they want to be able to exercise more of their powers, taking away more of your freedoms. So you're going to rely on the NYPD more when you don't have a gun in your house.
I was just going to say, imagine you live in New York City. I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. You live in New York City with your wife and your young daughter. Convicted rapist lives right next door because that's where his mom lives with you. You're not allowed to have your gun. You couldn't buy a gun because the gun shop was closed.
Yeah.
Right? Now that's a dark picture. It's something that no one wants to think about. But when it happens to you,
then it becomes practical.
All of a sudden it's an issue. Oh man, that's crazy. Well, maybe we should stop limiting our liberties. And I'm not trying to be a libertarian. I'm not trying to be a crazy guy. I wouldn't say that I'm super conservative by any means at all. But it's really common sense. I hate saying that word. A lot of people talk about politics and they're like, this is common sense conservatism or liberalism.
Yeah.
It's not really that common.
Everyone's measures.
Yeah.
Not very common.
But if it's up to me, I'd rather be protected when that guy is moving in next door. And
right.
I want everyone in my family to be safe. And it's me over him. But
right. We're speaking about breaking laws. And I saw another kind of, to me, bad attempt to show that somebody was breaking a law, and that was Joe Biden's former staffer accusing him of sexual assault in 1993. Now, we're conservative guys. We also respect women.
Yeah, we do.
Very much so. Never had any incidents, as far as I'm concerned. Right, Colby?
No, I'm clean.
Right.
I'm clean. Come on.
Now, we know how to treat a woman. And I believe, personally, that Joe Biden knows how to.
Yeah.
Now, is he a little cringy? Yes. He's Crazy Uncle Joe, they call him, for a reason, right?
Yeah, he earned that nickname.
But I have a question for you. Why is this accusation coming up nearly 30 years later?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. We actually talked about this yesterday, kind of hanging out around the house. So my unfiltered answer, this isn't a Fox News answer, this isn't a CNN answer, this is a Twin Talk answer.
We're just average guys sitting in our room talking about this stuff.
I would say my answer is pretty simple. Now, I think that there's always merit whenever someone brings up an allegation so serious, right?
Right.
Why would you say that someone raped you if they didn't, right?
Right.
However, there's a lot of issues with this one. The first one is that the Me Too movement doesn't even support this lady already. Now, is that because all of a sudden it infringes on their liberal agenda, or because it's not true? That's a catch-22. That's for you to figure out, right?
Right.
But with that being said, this is from 1993. So I could just 2003, 2013, 2023. So, you do the math.
27 years.
It's been 27 years. Within those 27 years, Biden was in the Senate, right? He was in Congress, he was in the Senate, and now all of a sudden he was already the vice president of the United States with Barack Obama, a Democrat. Now all of a sudden he's running for election for president of the United States, and no, he raped me. Well, something tells me, where was the 27 years in between that now? And I know, okay, for the feminists out there, you're going to say, all right, where's the statute of limitations? There should be no statute of limitations. What's true is true. What's happened is happened, and maybe she didn't feel comfortable with herself or anyone else or her body to tell the true story. Well, I might believe that, but my opinion is I like to see some evidence first before we bury Biden the same way that Trump was buried.
Right.
Now, this is my main point. Look at the hypocrisy of everything that's happened. Trump, he's running for president. Now, he does have a grab her in a moment.
Yeah, I mean, he says some pretty perverse things.
So he sets himself up for it. But even with his allegations, there was very little that anyone could find to be true at all that even happened. Same with Justice Kavanaugh. No one, there's no evidence. This lady was looking like she's going crazy, right? Now, all of a sudden, we got Joe Biden. There's no evidence, and the media is hushed.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't tell you one thing, what it tells me is that the media is very biased. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it's true or not. I hope it's not true, because as much as we talk about Joe Biden, and he's more liberal than Donald Trump. He's still a middle guy. He's still, he back in the day, he made his name off of backing the unions, the normal person, and I can respect that. So I respect Joe Biden, and I probably won't be voting for him.
No.
Don't know. I'll keep my doors, my options open. But to sit here and tarnish the man for something like this, I think it's fake. It has to be for now.
Well,
for now.
Well, to me, and just to highlight what you said, why is there a difference when potential Supreme Court justice, this is not a political person.
Well, it's not supposed
to be. Now, the courts have turned political.
We saw Republicans and Democrats alike be pretty political on the courts.
But this is not a political position. And we run him through the political process. We drag him through the mud because of allegations of a party that didn't happen more than 30 years ago.
In his high school yearbook.
Yeah, and this was now in the 80s with Blasey Ford. Now, to me, it was ironic. I mean, these people, these liberals, supported her, collaborated her story, although there was no witnesses. They brought it into Senate hearings about this.
Yeah.
She was given the spotlight. Do you remember how big of a story this was? This was the biggest thing. Trump wants to appoint a rapist to the Supreme Court. Trump wants to support a women abuser to the Supreme Court. And then, what has it been? 2 years later.
Yeah.
A whole 2 years later. We're in an election cycle, which is naturally more political than the Supreme Court. And just because Joe Biden is a Democrat, we have heard nothing about this story.
I saw one thing on Microsoft Edge, on the
the MSN or whatever.
Oh yeah, a lot of people use Microsoft
Joe
Edge.
Biden accused of something, and then you read the story and it's slanted so far left, you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
Now, personally, do I believe that this happened? Maybe, maybe not. Most likely, if it happened consensually, because he had a title behind him. I'm not going to judge on the merits, so to say, but the story has changed multiple times since she came forward. And she first put the story out in 2018.
I will say it might be a little hard to remember after 28 years of silence.
Right.
So,
right.
I don't know.
So to me, I'm not going to discount her if she's listening. I hope that you're telling the truth. I hope that there's evidence that you're telling the truth if that actually happened. But we've waited so long. We've waited to an election year. We've waited since the other candidates have dropped out.
Yeah.
This wasn't whenever Michael Bloomberg was running.
Joe Biden's the front
This wasn't
runner.
when Sanders was running. Why is this a day or two after Senator Sanders drops out? Right before he's about to give his blessing, his endorsement to Joe Biden. So to me, I'm not going to judge the merits, but I just think it's ironic that the media, they just aren't covering this.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy overall. When you look at the political climate that we're in, like the last 5 years have been crazy. Republican or Democrat, I think everyone can agree. No one wants to hear that your president said, grab her by the blank. No one wants to hear that, the Democratic nominee could have raped someone, and did that. And so it's just tough as a society right now to accept that, okay, well, these men in power may or may not have done stuff.
Right. And again, we can't necessarily judge their merits based off of incomplete information.
But again, let's just take a step back. Clarence Thomas, no one knows who he is except for the conservatives. All of a sudden he gets nominated, a black man, mind you, so very unique for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a man who should be like on a pedestal. Like he's one of my
should have
heroes
statues
for
built
what he
after
did.
him.
Yeah. And guess what? The Democrats are like dragging him through the mud. Oh, he harassed someone. It's over. He's such an evil, disgusting man. Why? Because he's conservative and he just got appointed. Kavanaugh, right? All of a sudden, boom, we gotta put allegations on him. All these people. Why is it right whenever they're reaching the peak of their career? Is it because that these allegations are true, or is it because someone wants them stopped?
Or somebody's been hurt by them in the past.
Yeah.
Again, we can't judge the merits.
But the timing
based
is
off
where-
of the timing,
It's like
you may be able to infer something.
it's just like me saying like, okay, so it's like if at Twin Talk, if we somehow went big, right? And yeah, we signed $1 million contract. Probably,
It's gonna happen,
probably
not
will,
somehow.
Oh, well, I was gonna say probably will never happen. But hey,
Don't
whatever.
discount yourself.
I mean, I'm gonna follow my dream. But okay, that was sappy. But no, to be honest with you, why is it that, like, if, for example, if you and I did that and we were successful, and then all of a sudden you're about ready to get a deal and they say, we only want Blake Rydell, then I'm going to be like, oh, well, Blake, he smokes weed, he's the worst guy ever, he killed 5 people one time. It's clearly a ploy to take someone down with you.
It's somebody being a little bit salty.
Where
about
was
the
this
situation.
when Joe Biden was one heartbeat away from the presidency? Where was that then?
Yeah, vice president even. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The one heartbeat.
That's what I mean.
If
Yeah.
anything happened to Obama, Biden was the man. If anything happened to Trump, Pence was the man. You never hear anything about them. So, I don't know. But, hey, what's your opinion now? Since we talked about Corona, we're going to kind of loop back around and go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on opening the economy, on reopening the economy? Do you think it has to be done like incrementally, like Dr. Fauci and all the other modelists are predicting? Or do you think that it can be kind of like a wide reopening? Now, I'll tell you my personal opinion first. I think that it should be a wide reopening. Again, my theory, and the doctors, if there's anyone who actually watches this and gets this far, you're probably going to have a hate comment. Or maybe you might love us. I don't know. But a lot of people will comment and say, well, you're not a scientist. You have no clue what the hell you're talking about, to be honest with you. Right? But think about it. Would you rather route everyone to one main place? If you're sick, you have to stay in the house with the rest of your family and get them sick, although you're supposed to be in your own room. Yeah, we know how that happens.
helps a lot.
Yeah. Uh-huh. When you go to the same refrigerator to try to get a drink because you're dehydrated, and all of a sudden you touch it and the rest of your family got it. Or would you rather have a spread? Your kids are out playing. Your kids are out playing football. Your wife is at the knitting club. I don't know where she is, but she's doing something. And now Okay, there's more space between us. I think that being in public, I think I've been more social distanced in public than I ever have been in quarantine.
Right.
So my personal opinion, open it all up at once and see what happens.
I think I'm going to personally disagree with you, but I do understand your point. I do understand that you're saying that we're all going to probably get a strand of this eventually. Just like everybody's been sick. Everybody's had the common cold. Everybody's had the flu at least one time in their life.
Yeah.
Everybody has had either chicken pox or the immunization. We're all going to get it regardless, okay?
Well, I hope not. I'm not talking
maybe
like that.
Maybe not before there's an immunization, but we are going to have some form of strand, whether it's through immunization or catching this. Now, hopefully we don't catch this. Hopefully we all get immunized. Please immunize your kid. And I hope that this passes. I hope that we get an immunization within the next 6 months, year.
A vaccine.
Yeah, a vaccine. I hope that nothing ever happens like this again. Okay? This is a very serious disease.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I understand your point with that. That we're all basically going to get it sometime, whatever. Now, to me, personally, I think this should be more of a rolling thing. Could we have done more to prevent COVID-19? I don't believe so. We closed the borders. We closed a lot of travel. We closed from Europe even a long time ago, before there was a lot of cases. Now we're in the hundreds of thousands of cases.
Yeah, most in the world.
Yeah. There's no going back. There's no hitting the reverse. And just, we can't go back. To me, I think that there is hot spots like New York, which I wouldn't be caught dead in. Or maybe I would be caught dead if I went there.
Yeah, because you go, yeah.
Right. I think there's common sense measures to avoid certain places, particular locations, and maybe within particular locations, there shouldn't be like shared laundromats or something like that.
Well, I'll say rolling is a perfect example of an illustration. Like you think of a snowball. You roll it down the hill, and it's starting small, and then it rolls and
bigger
it rolls
and bigger,
and collects more, and it gets bigger and bigger until you got an avalanche. Well, I personally don't care what style we take. I'll take a rolling small ball than nothing right now.
Right.
But the issue is, doesn't that dictate what economy will be stimulated and what won't be because of the government? I thought that we had basically the right to run our businesses as we see through, like as we see fit, And now I own a restaurant in New York City. I'm not making any money. I can guarantee you that. There's literally no one there. I already got shut down by the state. This is awful. Now all of a sudden, we might open some non-vitals. Like, let's open, I don't know, let's just say movie theaters and shopping centers.
And churches.
Because they're hurting. And
churches apparently aren't vital.
Yeah, no, they're
aren't
not
essential.
Not necessities. Well, I mean, technically, I'll save that for later. But when you look at it that way, and you look at everything, okay, now these companies are winning. They're making money back off of their investment. They're trying to break even for the year. Now I have to wait another 2 months. Oh, because the government told me so? Well, thanks. Now I have to go out of business. Goodbye.
Think that,
right? Thank you.
I understand what you're saying. I think that ultimately it's a limiting damage to the rest of the economy. There's some aspects of the economy that have already been treated unfairly. Well, why is Amazon allowed to ship packages then, but Ruby Tuesdays can't serve you your Tuesday ribs, right? It depends on your perspective. To me, I believe that if we get the ball rolling, eventually the rest of the economy will come back, or there will be other companies that will take, unfortunately, some of the companies that go out of business's place. Now, I do believe that if we get the ball rolling, there will be less to lose, because right now nobody's making any money. No company's making any money besides, like I said, the lucky few, Amazon and Walmart. Hopefully you bought your stocks already.
You'd be surprised by their trajectory, but yes.
I think that if we get at least some money in some people's hands, in some employers' hands, we're going to see, like Reagan said in a way, trickle-down economics. If you're a consumer and you have a good job right now, and you go out, you find a great job, you're going to be more likely to spend. Now, you might not go to...
Are you really, though?
I believe you are.
Right now?
Yes. As soon as it starts... I mean, I know friends, personally, who are going to go buy a big screen TV right now, 4K TV, right now, with their check with their government assistance check or whatever it's called. So to me, get it rolling. People are going to spend. As soon as people spend, it's going to stimulate the rest of the economy, and we'll be back where we are soon.
I think they're trying to buy the TV because they wanted to see the whole picture. That was rough. But that was a dad joke. I'm 21, but sometimes you let those slip out every now and then. But no, I think that's, it makes sense. I get it.
It's better to have something than nothing.
Yeah, that's true too. But guess what? Now the golf course, which is, actually, funny story, there are golf courses that were still open this whole pandemic because they're essential as long as you maintain your social distancing. I don't remember the last time I went a day without golf. I was like, no, I can't do it anymore. I mean, I love golf, by the way, but wow.
I miss basketball more than golf, but
I
know you like golf.
I miss golf because it's something you can do until you're like 80 years old, man. Like, I don't think LeBron will even be playing to 50, and he's one of the few, lifelong cases of, he might be able to shoot around still and still get up there.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's dictating the terms of business, which, again, going back to it all, you can go back to the Stamp Act, go back to the Boston Tea Party. Boston. That's funny. That's a nice little accent.
Boston.
But you go back to all those things, and those all happened for a reason. It was for the freedom of conducting your business, your freedom of religion, and your freedom of expression, and your right to bear arms too. Yeah, that's important. But you look at all those, and the same common denominator is no government involvement. And unfortunately now, with the stimulus package even, good luck with that, because we've already kind of bailed out. You can use the PPP plan, the Payment Protection Program, to save your employees. That's great. But now, all of a sudden,
I don't think it invalidates your point, but they're already picking winners and losers. There's already small businesses that have been accepted and fully funded with the loans. There's some people who their banks just don't offer it. Call the SBA. Well, have you tried calling?
Yeah, good luck.
They don't answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're already picking winners and losers. I think if you want to help open up the economy, help getting things going back to normal, we got to do it soon, or we at least got to open up parts. I'm not saying go open up Busch Gardens, but open up Busch Beer. That's what I'm trying to say,
And I get that. I think it just has to be a balance of like, look, we can't be picking winners and losers. I don't think so, right?
No.
We might have a valuable company that the government deems isn't valuable. Good luck. Have a good time. See you later. And you don't get to keep your employees. Now they're screwed because of the government. Not once, but twice, not to mention, because the government screwed them of their job when they had to shut down the whole country. And then they screwed them over again where, you're not PPP eligible.
Right. You're not eligible for that. You're not eligible for unemployment. Or if you are, good luck getting on the website.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say. And this is going to sound radically liberal even. But either you pay every business to stay around, or you pay none. And unfortunately, nope, you gotta meet qualifications. Nope, you gotta meet this, you gotta meet that. The government's dictating the terms of everything we do. And that's, to me, unacceptable. Some of you guys might like that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you got friends in politics.
Some socialists out there,
Yeah, but socialists, I guess communists think the community should come together. Everyone should be equal, like as an equal societal realm. So even they might be a little upset, but
I think we're just teaching government dependence.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I don't think there should be any regulations. I think every regulation should be voluntary, which nationally it is voluntary. All these regulations that have been going on are from states. So I say if you have a concern about the economy, let's not blame it on President Trump. Let's not blame it necessarily on the feds, but call your state lawmaker, call your representative, call your governor, write a letter to your senator. That's how you're gonna fix this problem.
Well,
it's by focusing on states' rights instead of the federal government's strength. But right now, everybody's blaming it on Trump and blaming it on the feds. And again, like we talked about earlier, it's about expanding influence.
I don't place the blame on them. I blame the system. Trump has only been in for 3 years?
Yeah.
You can't change the whole system in 3 years. You can't change it in one day. I'm not blaming him. I think that for the most part, he's done a pretty good job handling this. I don't know how other people would see it, but that's the way I see it. But I don't know. And a matter of fact, I was just on the phone with my uncle yesterday, and we were kind of talking about some of this. And one of the things that he said is it really boils back down, and I don't know what people are saying. I don't know what the other shows are saying, but it really boils back down to small government having big power now. It's not the nation that's mandating face masks.
Right.
It's your local county commissioner.
It's Pompano Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
Saying that you can't go out without a face mask.
Yeah, well, what if it's against my religious beliefs? No, I'm not going to be one of those guys. But seriously, like, what happens if you don't want to? You have the freedom of expression. Now, all of a sudden, you can't even show an expression, right? You got his, and then this is the thing that gets me, is these local governments will say, well, this is an unprecedented time that we have to combat. Well, and this is the catch-22. Conservatives will say, oh, small local governments, they are the winner. We've always wanted small governments to have power. Now we're finally getting that. This is more of a conservative movement than before. Well, that's great, but you know
it's not working either.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Right.
It's like whenever your lawmakers of your city chamber get together and they're like, all right, well, the federal government can't really mandate this, but we're going to.
Well, to be fair,
Isn't
it did
that
happen
still
in a Democratic town that we're talking about.
Yeah, well, yes, but the moral of the story is that power is greater than ever at the smaller than ever at like local levels. So again, let's go back to Pompano Beach. Now you can't drink with plastic straws.
I'm just gonna say that.
Right?
Why not?
Oh man, because we don't want to hurt sea turtles. We can't. We can't hurt them. Right? Now all of a sudden, you screwed the business that's there, that was making the
there
plastic
goes the
straws.
plastic manufacturer.
Yeah. There goes all that. And why? Not because of the President of the United States, not because of Joe Biden, not because of Bernie Sanders, but because of City Commissioner A, who got elected.
Who you don't know who they are.
No, they got elected.
And who you filled in their bubble without even knowing.
Because you voted party lines, Republican or Democrat.
Yep.
So
you're right. I will say the feds need to hold the states accountable, and the states need to hold the feds accountable. And as soon as we see that, we'll see a government that functions a little bit easier, a little less stressed. But we see some states doing crazy measures. We see some states, like Texas, they're not shutting anything down. Of course, they are Texas.
Yeah, I mean, they were once their own country.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So. They're gonna do what they want. But let's see it kind of even out, and that's, I think we should leave it there.
I think that has to be mixed. I think that you want to protect civil liberties while also protecting your community.
Constitutional rights.
Well, protecting your community. Yeah. If you think a face mask is going to help everyone, and like your grandma's not going to die because of a face mask, then fine, go ahead and pass it. But don't look at someone weird whenever they don't want to wear the thing around there. What happens? All right. Well,
it's going into Sharia law almost.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to wear a headband if you're a woman, just because you have to.
Yeah, because we think that the sweat particles could get someone sick. So now you have to cover your whole face. Good luck with that. Have a fun time with that.
Exactly.
Now you have to do it. Oh, you get fined. Oh, if you do 2 strikes, you go to jail.
This is not to say that I don't agree with wearing a face mask.
I agree with
Please
that.
wear a face mask if you go out, because I'm not trying to get what you're getting. Okay, help me out and help your neighbor out by wearing a face mask. That's what the Surgeon General has been saying.
Yeah.
But why are we mandating it? That's the thing, and I understand why. But it's just scary that they have the power to do so.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's really the grasp of it all, is look at the power that they have over the average person. I thought that it was the people who had the power over them, right? Because that's why we vote. That's why we hold elections. Hey, but by the way, our elections are canceled now for a while too, because we're the government and we protect safety, right? So just watch whenever this stuff starts happening, and it will. Your elections are canceled. All of a sudden, you literally...
We've already seen that.
Yeah. We've seen that. And now all of a sudden, you can't go see Grandma. Grandma's dying. Grandma, her last wish is to go see you. Right? To see the face that's made her happy for 25 years, for 50 years. I don't know how old you are. Mm-hmm. The government says you can't. Well, bye, Mom. Thanks for everything. I can't say bye to you now.
Can't have a funeral.
I never have the closure. We can't have a funeral that, by the way, I still have to pay for. The government's not paying for it. So, yeah, let's just take advantage and control of everything. It makes no sense.
And I can tell you firsthand that is happening. And I say that because I have a fiance who works in the healthcare industry as a social worker. Mm-hmm. And she said it's happened multiple times, more than not actually, with COVID-19 patients. They come in, it takes them an hour or two to scrub down, get ready, get in the scrubs, get in the protective gear, get the face mask on, get the gloves on, and they walk into the room and they say, "I'm so sorry. They just passed away 5 minutes ago." And they start crying, saying, "I wasted all my time. I couldn't be there with Dad whenever he needed me the most." Because that's when they do need you the most. When they're going from this life to the next life. That's when they need you the most. But no, the government says, no, you can't. You have to do this, you have to do that. And again, it's very understandable, but it's just scary.
You know what's funny, too, is I'm sitting here just listening to myself. I sound like an angry conservative. Like, oh my gosh, let's torch the government. That's not what I'm saying. I think the government, I respected Barack Obama. Especially in retrospect now, I respect some of his, honestly, some civility that, I think we lack from time to time. But... yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna catch heat. Don't worry about it. But I do miss some of that about Obama. I respected him. I respect Joe Biden, although he kind of can't finish the sentence right now. I respect him. He's been in government for a long time. That's not good. But I still think he's a good man. And look at his life. What's happened? All the tragedy that surrounded him.
Yeah. No, he's a tremendous guy.
Up to a presidential nominee and former vice president. I respect him.
Right.
Trump, I respect him. He's a billionaire. He built his business, yada, yada, yada. I respect him. But there's a fine line where respect doesn't equal taking your rights away. Right. So just remember that. That's something.
And I'm not saying that these regulations are bad today. I'm talking about the next 5 years. The next COVID-20 virus. Yeah. The next big thing.
You know what it reminds me of? Just like to kind of like, ease the topic a little bit. Like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 3, where like he's tied down, completely tied down, and there's like a face mask thing on him, and there's like and he's just completely strapped down, like worse than a straitjacket. Like he's literally strapped down. The guy's telling him something, and he's like, "Hey man, you suck, whatever," and take him to the holding area. And he has no chance to explain himself.
Yeah.
That's the way that I feel like the government's going to be to us. You're strapped down. You can't do anything. And even if you have a reasonable explanation.
They don't want to hear it.
Even if grandma's dying. Even if...
There's no special
Even if your wife is giving birth, but she has COVID-19. You can't see your kid. All that stuff. You're tied down, and that's the scary part. And that sounds like a grumpy conservative, but it's just true.
I'd like to do one more movie reference.
Yeah,
the I Am Legend.
Ooh,
have you seen that when they're all trying to get on the helicopter and like
Will Smith.
They're doing like the temperature and like the
little eye thing? Well, dude, the things in China they look literally like that.
They're doing that. They have like the little like temperature gauges that they make you walk through and stuff, like to determine if you get on the plane. And like regardless of whether you agree or not, I just personally think I'm like, whoa, it's happening. Like this is what has been in the media for so long. And to be honest with you, I think that's why there's a lot of panic around this virus, because we've heard of a pandemic. We play the board game Pandemic. We talk about all this about a pandemic. And it gets here, and it's not quite as bad as we thought it was going to be. Now, it's still devastating. It still kills people. It's horrible. I hope that we get this out of the way soon. I hope that we have like you said, an immunization soon. I hope that we get back to work soon. There's so many things that I hope happens, and it's not going to happen just like this. You can't flick a switch on and off. But I will say, I think that the most important step is remembering our freedoms. As soon as we remember our freedoms and all the people who died for our freedoms, we'll remember all the people who died with COVID-19, and we ourselves as individuals will do the right thing. We got to trust the individual.
Now, talking of freedoms, I'm going to pivot the subject a little bit. With Bernie Sanders dropping out, obviously we have the freedom to assemble an election to determine our next leader. first of all, what did you think of Bernie Sanders dropping out? What do you think his actions showed? And with him now endorsing Joe Biden literally today.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that whole situation that has gone on in the Democratic primary?
I've been following politics for a long, long time, and I don't think there's been a figure as liberal as Bernie Sanders and as much of a socialist as Bernie Sanders that has come to prominence in America. Now, there's been people who have done that.
There's been
there, done that. There's been people who have done it in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. And there's been socialists, right? There has been socialists in our government, but there's never been one quite as popular as Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
To go from the mayor of a small town in Vermont and Burlington to almost presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. He was a front runner in 2016.
Yeah.
He was now a front runner in 2020 until recently. The whole tide switched, the whole tables turned for Joe Biden, and again, that's because the media is kind of pushing him.
And it's also, it's not even the media on this one. I think it was more of like, hey, Pete Buttigieg, hey, Amy Klobuchar. Hey, all you guys that have no chance of winning,
please drop out and I'll give you a cabinet position.
Drop out, and guess what? I'll hook you up later.
You might be vice president.
Hey, you could Kamala Harris. I might give you a call for VP. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I'm Joe Biden. I'm Uncle Joe.
Stacey Abrams, maybe.
I was the former vice president. I'm the best to handle this. Even though I'm the old white man that Democrats complained about in 2016, I'm the best for the job. Everyone drop out. I'll hook you up later down the line.
Right.
Politically.
Political favors.
And all of a sudden, Bernie Sanders, he's out way ahead. He gets screwed. He gets absolutely screwed. He's like, oh, crap, what do I do now?
What do I do now?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. What do I do?
Within like 2 days. Right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's what I think it was. It was politics. It was dirt. He got done dirty.
I'm going to be honest here.
Done dirty.
I think that Bernie Sanders was actually soft on this issue because we hear about the Bernie bros. We hear about them rioting and fighting a lot of Trump supporters. Some of them turn into Trump supporters. I don't understand that.
Well, did you see Joe Rogan? He was like, listen, man, like if Biden's the nominee, which now he is, unless something happens at the convention that won't be held on time because of the government. But despite all that, he's not voting for Joe Biden over Trump. That's what he said. He's like, screw this. I might go to Trump.
You're voting for one old white guy who's a centrist compared to another old white guy who's a centrist. In reality.
A former Democrat and a Democrat.
And to me, I think that Joe Biden, to me, there's clear mental issues going on up there.
I wouldn't take it that far. I just don't think that he's all together.
I personally think that's what I mean. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. I just think that he is. I mean, he stumbles over his sentences. I do too.
But he was doing that back
I'm not going to blame you, Joe.
2007.
I mean, I guess so. I think that there is clearly. I mean, he's older. Some people are saying, oh, he's senile. No, he's not senile. He's high functioning for being 78 years old. I mean, geez, I'm 21 and I don't feel like getting out of bed sometimes, you know? And this man's on the campaign trail or sometimes in his basement. So I respect him. I will say, though, I think that Bernie doing this was weak, and I was alluding to this earlier. I think that this was his ultimate favor or his ultimate bowing down to the establishment Democrats.
That's my main thing too, is like, listen, your voting block was not traditional voters. They're the young people, Bernie bros, etc.
Yeah.
Whatever the heck you want to call them.
A lot of college-aged students.
That was your voter block, man. And now all of a sudden, because the Democrats know that they probably won't beat Trump unless they have that voting block, let's just send everyone, because maybe I can work to get some of my accomplishments cemented if Biden gets in.
And that's why he's still on the ballot in these states. But that's why he's still collecting delegates. He's out of the race, even though he isn't. But he wants to put clout behind his beliefs and ideas.
And he's doing it as a political favor. I don't think he likes Joe Biden.
No.
He hates everything Joe Biden's probably done. I mean,
remember his one speech? One of us voted for the war, another one of us didn't vote for the war.
Yeah.
Like, he went down and listed tons of differences.
And that's what's truly ironic. He's abandoning his positions and abandoning his phone, his his following, his Bernie bros, by doing this. So I think the same thing too. I think he kind of has given up on the cause.
Not really. Again, I don't want to use a religious reference in politics, but I'm going to because I think it's kind of ironic. It would be almost like if Jesus had all of his followers follow him all the way he gets to the Pharisees and he goes, I support you. Like, I support you.
Yeah, you guys are great.
I'm not going to tear down the temple. I love the temple. Go, guys. Yes, yes. Just because it's Easter, I watched The Passion of the Christ. That's, to me, what it looks like. It kind of looks like what it is. This is a guy who hates the establishment. He wants to tear down the establishment. He wants free health care. He wants massive government spending, more than this. I mean, he wants trillions of dollars for programs that don't even exist right now.
Although I will say, I don't think Bernie is Jesus.
No, I'm not going to say that. But same type of radical following, and then he just leaves them out to dry. So to me, I thought it was a weak move. I'm sorry, Bernie.
Dang, bro. Well, here's the last question. We're going to wrap up the show. We've been talking for a while, kind of hot airbags, I guess. But just to lighten the load, to have a little fun, what have you been doing during this quarantine? Obviously, is kind of boring. A lot of people have been making TikToks. I've been
this
on TikTok.
guy, follow him.
Fat Cat Daddy, that's my TikTok. I've been there for a while. Number one, I was like, I don't know. I had a video a long time ago, but
I was in it, and it got 2 million views.
It was.
I wish this video got 2 million views.
Maybe it will. Maybe we have to act even crazier next time.
Maybe.
But what have you been doing, for real?
Well, I've been eating a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't gained any weight yet, so that's a good thing. Or
you sure?
Arguably, haven't gained any weight.
Not a lot
noticeably.
Of weight.
Yeah. And really, I've just been spending time in the Word of God, reading the Bible lately.
Okay.
It's near Easter season. I think that, it's a little bit past Easter now, but I think that it's important that we all start following the Lord and His commandments, not the government's commandments. I have been working outside, just got this new house, so I've been cutting the grass, working on little things that need fixed up, that sort of thing. And I think... I've been personally working on an online job because we're not allowed to go into the office, so that sort of thing. Basically the everyday things, but it's just a little bit actually nicer to be in your house and not to worry about going to the office and dealing with that stuff.
And I'll say mine was the same, so I'll save you from even asking.
Yeah.
Only I've been whooping him in Madden in 2K.
No.
So don't.
That's not
he's
true.
He's gonna sit here and act like, oh,
that's absolutely
that's
not true.
No.
He won the last game by a decisive margin. He was it was 32 to 8 or something.
I was playing fundamental football.
The previous 7 games, ask him what happened. I mean, I smushed him. Cam Newton this is Madden 25. Cam Newton, he's kind of not really the best, not really the worst. Try 9 touchdowns thrown on him.
Yeah,
9 touchdowns,
whatever.
2 interceptions,
Whatever.
and the interception was on a last-minute Hail Mary. So I basically went 9-1. That's all I'm gonna say. Well, absolutely
this guy,
demolished.
He's like CNN, fake news.
That's not true. That's not true. Look at me in my eyes. That's not true.
It's
not true.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, I've been destroying him in those, and I've been playing a little bit of The Godfather too. It's a good game. I am about 10 years late on this one, but
we're catching up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, watch Captain America. Pretty patriotic, not gonna lie. He's definitely was conservative when he started out. He was like, "Ma'am, there ain't one God, or there's only one God.
There's only one God.
Don't look
he
like
doesn't
that.
dress like that."
Yeah, so.
But by Endgame, I don't know.
I'll say I don't know. But what I will say is, I like the story of all of them. Tony Stark and that going on. He's kind of like the billionaire. Tony Stark reminds me of if Donald Trump was a little bit cooler.
It was like if Donald Trump and Elon Musk raised a child together. That's what Tony Stark
That is kind of weird, especially because Elon Musk is in number 2. So
Yikes.
Yeah. No, but we've been hanging out and stuff and cut the grass up.
Let us know what you guys are doing in the comments below.
That was basic. That was YouTube stuff. But
it's our first video. We gotta be basic.
So guys, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit us up. It's on
subscribe, comment, share.
Share.
Put it on your Facebook, your Instagram,
it's
your
gonna
Twitter.
be on
Put it on your Snapchat, your face, put it on your Venmo. I don't care. Put it everywhere.
Venmo.
Yeah. Send us money.
Venmo us. Yeah, there you go. No, but and if you guys haven't noticed, the light went out like 35 minutes ago. That's because we're cheap and broke. So, yeah, Venmo us.
Help us build this studio.
Now we're starting to sound like Sanders supporters. Yeah. So, whoa. No, but guys, with that, like, we had a great show. We're looking forward to making more of these. We're definitely on Facebook Watch. We're on YouTube, on Twitter. What's our at? It's Twin Talk Twitter.
Twin Talk Twitter.
No, Twin Talk Tweets.
Twin
That's
Talk
what
Tweets.
it is. Don't say it too fast. It's a tongue twister. So, anyways, with that, guys, we hope that you have a great time doing whatever you do in quarantine. And don't forget to come back and watch us.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
We might do some live streams eventually.
Yeah, so we're excited for that. Thanks, guys, and have a good one.